I have an old car.
Specifically, I have a Honda Element, a toaster if you will, and honestly, it's great. Having an older car means I don't really have to worry as much about the car, so I can just kind of freely toss aside my old gym clothes if I want. And I don't really care if people eat in my car, because, worst case scenario, something spills. It's not that hard to clean, and I'm not all that attached to it anyway, right? But the best thing about having an older car is they always come with some really weird old features that they thought were going to be a big deal someday, and most of the time they never really caught on. So let's talk about a few. For one, they decided to include these suicide doors, which may seem kind of cool at first, but the novelty wore off pretty quick when I had to explain to everybody how to open a door. Or one of my personal favorites, the fact that you don't actually have to push this button to change the gear shift. You can just do it like that. Isn't that safe? But I'm not here to talk about those. I'm here to talk about this. This allows you to lean the chair back or forward or push the whole seat forward and back in case you ever want to. They probably designed this feature with great intentions, like making it easier to climb into the back or to upcharge for an extra feature. But those designers' IQs must have been room temperature because the little gremlins that my siblings and I were used it to make the experience of sitting in the front more eventful to say the least. Now, regardless of why it's there, I'm going to be utilizing it by building something that can press this button when nobody is sitting there, dropping the passenger down, scaring them, startling them, especially because they're not going to expect it since nobody is sitting back here. I call it reverse ejection seats. And although I understand the opposite of ejection is injection, I don't really plan on stabbing my friends with needles yet. So let's get started. How terrible I did. To build it, I started with a breadboard since I must not really have felt like soldering that day. Then I threw on an Arduino, along with some wires and something to connect via Bluetooth. It's about this time when I realized I forgot to buy the servo, which, is pretty hard to do the testing without. But eventually it got here, and when it did, I was able to plug things in and everything was working just as it was supposed to. My only problem now is that the project ended up being too simple. I mean, just look how little code that is. What am I supposed to do with that? Now at this point, I just kind of need to find a way to make it more interesting, more complex, because I could probably finish this project today if I wanted to, just because that's kind of nothing. I can just kind of hook up the hardware however I feel like, but I need to find some way to make it better. Alexa, you got any ideas? So I ordered a $5 Amazon Echo, rewrote my code, and then tried setting up my AWS account so that I can do the Amazon side of coding. But uh-oh, there was a payment error. Looks like I was too broke to afford the, $1 authorization fee. But eventually I got things figured out and started hooking things up. And that's where I found my first big issue. See, it turned out that pushing down that button took a little more force than I thought it did, and this 25-kilogram servo wasn't quite gonna cut it, even if I did put a little wooden block to help make it easier for it. In the end, it just kind of struggled and tried its best, but it just wasn't enough. Now what? So I changed gears a bit and decided to modify my original design to make it sure that that 25-kilogram servo was always going to be enough. So after a little work in the shop prepping my contraption that would eventually go into my car, getting custom 3D printed parts made up, and spending equal time finding screws that would actually fit, that is what I ended up with. Now I could just demo this right now, but seeing as, there's not even really anybody in the seat, I think it'd be much more fun to, call up some friends, see if they want to get lunch, it's all good intentions, right? Now, I hear what you're saying. Obviously, I needed to find a way to get my friends to lean back and put their head back in a way that wouldn't be suspicious. So I told them that I installed a water gun in one of the little holes, since, it's an old car, in the front of my car that is controlled via the Alexa to shoot water at, students and pedestrians that annoy me while I'm on campus. So that's what I told them. I just figured it was worth mentioning, but anyway, time for the testing montage. In the front of my car.
Oh my god, okay.
Lean back. back a bit and kind of put your head up like this, right?
Okay.
Now, lean back like this. Put your head back so you can see it. So, lean back. Put your head back a bit.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What?
That would be scary.
That is awesome.
Pretty good. Oh!